Good morning, everyone. Welcome to iTuitions. Take a look at the screen. 3 words: process, essay, art and design. Now, I want you to think about the last project you worked on. A poster, a logo, a product sketch, anything. Think about everything you did before the final piece was done. The research, the doodles, the failed prototypes, the moments of doubt, the breakthroughs. Here's a question, and I really want you to think about it. Could you explain that entire journey to someone who wasn't there? Could you put it into words, clearly, in order, with purpose? That is exactly what we're going to learn today. How to take the messy, beautiful, non-linear creative experience that lives inside your sketchbook and turn it into a powerful, structured, academic piece of writing called a process essay. This is not just a writing exercise. This is a professional skill. Designers who can explain their process are more employable, more credible, and more persuasive than those who can only show an end result. So let's get into it. So what exactly is a process essay? At its most basic, a process essay explains how something is done or how something happens, step by step. It walks the reader through a sequence of actions or stages, from beginning to end. Think of it like a guided tour. You are the guide. Your creative process is the city. And your reader, whether that's a tutor, a client, or a colleague, is the tourist. Your job is to take them through every street, every turning point, every decision you made along the way. Now look at the key features on this slide. First, it's written in chronological order. That means time matters. What happened first goes first. What happened last goes last. You can't jump around. Second, it uses transitional phrases. Words like first, next, subsequently, finally. These are the signposts that tell your reader, we're moving from one stage to the next. Without them, your essay feels like a pile of notes rather than a structured argument. Third, it's specific and detailed. Vague language is the enemy of good process writing. Don't say, I did some sketches. Say, I produced over 30 thumbnail sketches, exploring different structural relationships between the light source and the shade. Specific, detailed, purposeful. And finally, there are 2 core questions a process essay answers, and you can see them at the bottom of the slide. How do I do this? That's a directional essay. How does this happen? That's an informational essay. We'll look at the difference in just a moment. Some of you might be thinking, I'm a designer. I draw. I make things. Why do I need to write? I understand that instinct. But here's the reality of the professional design world. Your work does not speak for itself. You speak for it. And the way you speak for it, on paper, matters enormously. Look at the left column, for your studies. When you write about your creative process, you're not just filling in a word count. You are documenting your creative decisions. You're showing your tutor that you didn't just stumble into a good outcome by accident. You thought critically. You made deliberate choices. You reflected on what worked and what didn't. That is what separates a good designer from an excellent one. And process writing builds what we call reflective practice, the ability to look at your own work honestly, identify what you'd do differently, and carry those lessons forward into the next project. Now look at the right column, for your career. Every single item here, design briefs, project reports, client presentations, professional documentation, requires exactly this skill. The ability to explain a complex process in clear, ordered, compelling language. Read the quote at the bottom of the slide with me. It's worth remembering. Design is not just what it looks like. Design is how it works, and how you explain it. That second part, that's the part most students overlook. Don't be one of them. Now, there are 2 types of process essays, and it's important you understand the difference because they serve completely different purposes. The first is the directional process essay. This is how to do something. It's instructional. It's written for someone who wants to replicate the process themselves. Think of a recipe or a step-by-step design tutorial. The goal is, after reading this, you should be able to do it too. Read the example on screen. First, collect reference images. Next, produce 20 thumbnail sketches without judging any idea. You see how it feels like clear instructions? Like you're being shown the path? Now, the second type, the informational process essay. This is how something happened. It's not instruction. It's narration and reflection. The reader isn't expected to repeat your process. They just need to understand it. Read this example. The design evolved through a series of explorations that eventually led to the leaf-shaped structure. Do you feel the difference? It's more reflective, more personal. It's describing a journey rather than giving directions. Here's the key point. In design education, you will use both types. When you write a design tutorial or a how-to guide, directional. When you write a project report or an artist's statement, informational. And very often, many design process essays blend both. You're narrating what happened, and explaining the reasoning behind each decision. So don't think of these as two separate boxes. Think of them as two ingredients that you combine in different proportions, depending on your purpose. Every essay has a structure, and the structure of a process essay is actually quite elegant, because it mirrors something you already do naturally as a designer. You start at the beginning, move through the middle, and arrive at an end. Let's look at the three parts. Introduction. This is your opening. You do three things here. 1. You present the project. What is it? What was the brief? What were you trying to achieve? 2. You give the reader a hook, something that draws them in. Maybe a question, maybe a bold statement about the challenge you faced. 3. You state your thesis. In a process essay, the thesis is essentially, here is what I'm going to walk you through. It tells the reader what the process involves and why it matters. Body paragraphs. This is the heart of your essay. Each paragraph covers one stage of your design process. Mind mapping, idea generation, sketching, rendering, prototyping, testing, final design. Each of these gets its own paragraph. Every body paragraph should begin with a clear topic sentence. We'll see exactly how to write one when we look at the workflow slide. Then you provide specific details about what you did, what worked, what didn't, and what decisions you made. And crucially, you connect each paragraph to the next using a transitional phrase. That's what keeps the essay flowing as a continuous narrative, rather than a list of disconnected moments. Conclusion. This is your reflection. This is where many students rush and lose marks. You need to do three things. Reflect on what you learned from the process, evaluate the final outcome honestly against your original goals, and end with a forward-looking or reflective statement. Not "and that is why I liked my project." Something more thoughtful. Something that shows genuine insight. Simple, logical, powerful. Introduction. Body. Conclusion. This slide is one of the most important ones in the whole presentation, so I want you to really look at it. These 7 blocks represent the typical creative design workflow. And each one of these blocks, every single one, becomes a paragraph in your process essay. Let's go through them quickly. Stage 1. Mind mapping. This is where it all begins. The open, free associative exploration of ideas. In your essay, this paragraph describes what themes emerged, what surprised you, and what direction began to take shape. Stage 2. Idea generation. Here you've moved from free association to focused development. You're narrowing down, researching, choosing directions. Your paragraph explains why you selected certain ideas over others. Stage 3. Sketching. Pencil to paper. 30 thumbnails, 50 thumbnails, whatever it takes. Your paragraph describes the visual decisions being made at this stage. Stage 4. Rendering. You've chosen your strongest concept, and now you're visualizing it in detail. This paragraph explains how rendering helped you clarify or revise the design. Stage 5. Prototyping. Now you're building. Physical or digital, this is where theory becomes reality, and problems you couldn't see in a drawing suddenly appear. This paragraph is often the most dramatic, because things go wrong, and you have to solve them. Stage 6. Testing. You put it in front of real eyes. You get feedback. You evaluate. This paragraph describes what you discovered and how you responded. Stage 7. Final design. The outcome. But in your essay, this isn't just a description of what it looks like. It's an explanation of how every previous stage contributed to this final form. Now look at the formula at the bottom of the slide. Read it with me. Transition plus stage name plus what happened plus design decision. That's your topic sentence template for every single body paragraph. For example, subsequently, that's your transition. The sketching phase, that's your stage. Produced over 30 thumbnail concepts, that's what happened, from which the organic, layered form was selected for further development. That's the design decision. One sentence. Clear, structured, professional. Use this every time. Now let's look at a complete model. The sample essay in your handout about designing a sustainable lamp. If you have your handout, turn to part 5 now. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. I want you to be able to read it yourselves. But what I am going to do is walk you through how it was built stage by stage, using this slide. Look at the first row. Intro. The essay doesn't start with, "In this essay I will." It starts with a statement of challenge, designing a lamp that is both beautiful and environmentally responsible. That immediately gives the reader a sense of purpose. They know why this process mattered. Now, mind map. Notice the first word. Initially. That's our transition. And then it gets specific. Words like leaves, shells, honeycombs. Not just, "I brainstormed some ideas." The essay tells us exactly what kind of ideas emerged. Research and sketch. Notice how the essay doesn't treat these as two completely separate events. They're linked. The research fed the sketching. That's the kind of nuanced, honest description that impresses tutors. Render. Here's an interesting moment. The rendering phase didn't just produce a nice picture. It revealed a structural flaw. And what did the designer do? Fixed it before building anything physical. That's the kind of reflective, process-aware thinking that makes an essay stand out. Prototype. The first one wasn't perfect. The base was widened, the shade was adjusted. This is not failure. This is design. And in your essay, documenting these adjustments shows that you're thinking, not just making. Test. Peer feedback. And crucially, the designer didn't just receive it, they responded to it. The rice paper diffuser was made more prominent. Your testing paragraph should always show what changed as a result of feedback. And final plus conclusion. Look at the last line on that row. Constraint equals catalyst for innovation. That's not just a summary of a lamp. That's a design insight. That's what a brilliant conclusion does. It turns a personal project into a universal lesson. That's the standard we're aiming for. Not just describing what you did, showing what it meant. Right. Let's talk about something that is small in size but massive in impact. Transitional phrases. Here's the truth. Without transitions, a process essay is just a list. It has information, but it doesn't flow. It doesn't feel like a journey. It feels like a set of disconnected events. Transitions are what stitch everything together. Look at the 7 categories on screen. I'm going to go through each one, and I want you to think about where in your essay you would use each type. Starting first, initially, to begin with. These go at the very beginning. Your mind map paragraph might start. Initially, an open mind mapping session was conducted to explore the concept of sustainable light. Continuing. Next, then, after that. These move you from one stage to the next. Next, 3 concept directions were developed from the strongest themes that emerged. Simultaneous. Meanwhile, at the same time. Use these when 2 things were happening in parallel. Meanwhile, material samples were collected and tested for durability. Following, subsequently. Following this, thereafter. These are slightly more formal, ideal for academic writing. Subsequently, the design was rendered in full detail using marker techniques and digital tools. Contrast. However, despite this, although these are critical for honest writing, if something didn't work, use a contrast transition to introduce it. However, the first prototype revealed a significant structural issue. Result. As a result, therefore, consequently, use these to connect a problem to its solution, or a decision to its outcome. As a result, the base dimensions were redesigned for greater stability. Concluding. Finally, in conclusion, ultimately, save these for your last stage, and your concluding paragraph. Finally, the completed lamp was assembled from bamboo veneer and hand-stitched rice paper. Now we're going to look at how you construct your sentences. Not just what you say, but the actual grammatical structures you use. A great process essay uses variety. If every sentence sounds the same length, same structure, the writing becomes flat. Academic writing should be precise and varied. Let me show you 4 structures you should be using. First, the simple process statement. This is your basic, direct sentence. I created several thumbnail sketches in the first session. Short, clear, factual. These are good for stating what happened, but don't rely on them exclusively. Second, the sequential sentence. This combines multiple simple actions into a flowing sequence. First, I drew rough thumbnails. Then, I selected the strongest 3. Finally, I developed them into full renders. Do you hear the rhythm? It moves. It has momentum. It sounds like a process. Third, the cause and effect sentence. This is one of the most important structures in design writing, because good design is always about decisions, and decisions have reasons. Because the prototype was too heavy, the base design was revised to reduce material weight. Cause and effect, problem and response. This is the language of a thoughtful designer. Fourth, the passive sentence. We'll talk more about passive voice on the next slide, but notice how formal and academic this sounds. The final design was evaluated by both tutors and peers before the submission deadline. Passive voice removes the I and puts the focus on the action itself, which is appropriate for formal academic writing. You should be mixing all 4 of these throughout your essay. One paragraph might use a sequential sentence to describe your sketching stages, then a cause and effect sentence to explain why you revised a design, and a simple statement to conclude the paragraph. Variety is what makes academic writing come alive. This is one of the questions I get asked most often. Should I write in first person or third person? Should I say I did this, or it was done? The answer is both. And knowing when to use each is a mark of a sophisticated writer. Let's look at the examples on screen. Left column, active voice. Right column, passive voice. I created several sketches versus several sketches were created. We tested 3 prototypes versus 3 prototypes were tested. I chose bamboo for sustainability versus bamboo was chosen for its sustainability. Feel the difference? In active voice, you are in the sentence. You're the actor. The focus is on your decision, your judgment, your agency as a designer. In passive voice, the action is in the sentence, not you. The focus shifts from who did it to what was done. It feels more objective, more formal, more academic. So when do you use each? Use active voice when you want to highlight your own creative decisions. When you're describing a choice, I chose this material because. Active voice puts the emphasis on your judgment. It's personal and direct. Use passive voice when you're describing a process or outcome, in a more formal, objective way. The prototype was evaluated under various lighting conditions. You're not saying I evaluated it. You're describing what happened to it. It sounds more scientific, more professional. Look at the note at the bottom of the slide. Use active for personal decisions. Use passive for formal academic reporting. In a design process essay, you'll often blend both within the same paragraph. You might say, I chose bamboo as the primary material. Active, personal, after which a series of structural tests were conducted. Passive, objective. That mix is what gives your writing both authenticity and academic credibility. Now let's practice. Before we get to the assignment, let's look at the 5 most common mistakes I see in design process essays and exactly how to fix them. Mistake number 1, skipping stages. You had a tough week. The prototyping went badly. You'd rather just not mention it. But here's the thing. A process essay that only describes the successes isn't honest, and tutors can tell. Every stage, including the difficult ones, belongs in your essay. Failures are not weaknesses. They're evidence of real design thinking. Mistake number 2, no transitions. You know the content. The ideas are all there. But without those linking phrases, the essay reads like bullet points in paragraph form. Start every body paragraph with a transitional phrase, non-negotiable. Mistake number 3, all passive or all active. If your entire essay is in passive voice, it sounds impersonal and disconnected from your own work. If it's all active, it can sound too informal and egocentric. Mix both. It's not about choosing one. It's about knowing when each is appropriate. Mistake number 4, describing what, not how, or why. This is the most common mistake of all. Students write about what their final design looks like. That's not a process essay. That's a product description. I want to know why you chose that material, why you redesigned the shade, what pushed you to change direction. The reasoning matters more than the outcome. Mistake number 5, no reflection in the conclusion. Your essay does not end when you describe the final piece. It ends when you honestly assess what you learned. What would you do differently? What did this process teach you about design or about yourself? That reflection is worth significant marks. Don't rush it. 5 mistakes, 5 fixes. Keep this slide in mind when you're reviewing your draft.